Game on, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Direction. As usual, let me bring my special guest, Jared from Comics League. How you doing?
Hello there, sir.
General Kenobi.
I can't believe I say this every week. I need to get that drop, and I can't believe I never do it.
Okay, yeah, you really need to get that clip, man. But what we're talking about today is Task Force X. Now, this was a little different from Suicide Squad, but if you remember, okay, what's the best way I could set this? We have to go all the way back to Joker's last laugh, to where Batman was believably killed the Joker, and essentially Bruce turns himself in, and Gotham is a little chaotic without Batman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a little?
So Tim ends up donning the cowl. Nightwing's still doing his own thing. And while Batman's, cooperating with Waller and working for the government.
Mm-hmm.
But while this is going on, Batman's putting together a team trying to redeem former villains such as Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Killer Croc, Enchantress. Do we want to say what was Wallace Ace's father? That Reverse Flash, or was he killed off in New 52 Suicide Squad?
I think he was killed off, and I think honestly it might be a good idea for doing synergy to make it the movie team, except not the James Gunn team.
Oh, definitely. Because you already have Enchantress as the villain. So this could, I could see that. But essentially this is going to be very similar to DCAU and it might be a bit of a Cadmus tease. But that's a topic for another video. But essentially these former villains are now, okay, you're working with the government now. You are now property of the nation or property of the state. If you finish this commission and actually survive your missions, you get a full pardon. And Batman, Waller makes sure she stacks Bruce's. Waller gives Bruce a hard time. Waller makes Bruce her new Rick Flag. Her bitch.
God. That's going to turn out well.
So now you have a team of Batman, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, and basically the Ayer cut team, not the whatever we got in theaters.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be like Diablo, Killer Croc, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and Harley.
Pretty much.
Not Slipknot, because he's useless.
Wait, who Slipknot?
He was the one that can climb on anything. He was the one whose head they blew up.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just some fodder character they opt for dramatic effect.
No, it's an actual guy.
Oh, but okay. So yeah, basically into where they essentially clean up Gotham, take out some of the heavy hitters. A lot of villains panic during this time, even with Tim donning the suit. Like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. We did this on the pretense that Batman wouldn't kill us. Now that Batman has killed, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to snap again. Even if he says, I'm done, this is why Batman killing once would actually solve Gotham's problems, because no one's going to test him now.
And if you hadn't seen Joker's last laugh, that two-parter, one was recorded, the other was live streamed. Let's just say Joker makes quite the comeback. But that's a separate topic for a different day. So basically, Batman's...
it's a return of the Joker.
So how would the Justice League handle this? Now, technically, the Task Force X or former Suicide Squad members are government agents, basically.
Yeah.
So I think the majority...
Nothing they can do. I think, honestly, it would turn out like the first couple of issues of Justice League versus Suicide Squad from Rebirth, which was dope. Where
pretty much.
They fight it first, and then Waller's like, no, stop fighting my government agents.
I feel like Artemis, because remember, her and Wally were paired in the New Direction verse. So I feel like those two, she would be able to empathize with the villains the most.
And by the way, by Artemis, we mean the bow and arrow Artemis, not the redheaded Wonder Woman.
Young Justice Artemis, not Amazon Artemis.
I can't believe we have to clarify that, but it's DC's own fault.
That is true. They should have gave her a separate code name. But which they kind of did with Tigress, but that's a whole nother can of worms.
I'll tell you what, we'll just call Amazon Artemis Fury.
That makes sense. But Hal Jordan wants nothing to do with it. You do realize he's a former criminal. I don't care if the government's got you by the balls right now. We can't trust these people. How do we know this isn't an infiltration op to steal secret files and crucial intel from the Watchtower? You do realize if they wanted to do that, they could have just hacked into Cyborg. And you're giving them the opportunity.
Exactly.
I have to do this, Hal. I have to atone for what I did. Come on, Bruce. You've done a lot of shady things over the years. But even if it was for a nut job like the Joker, you wouldn't have snapped that badly.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman goes, Bruce, can't believe I have to clarify this, but you were under mind control. It wasn't you.
It doesn't matter. The blood's still on my hands. And Gotham's affected by it. I have to serve my time.
And then Red Hood shows up and goes, okay, so wait a second. Do you see how safe Gotham is now that the criminals are actually afraid of you?
They've always been afraid of me. They just knew I wouldn't cross that line as long as I was partnered with Gordon.
Yeah, but here's the issue here, Bruce, is that they really weren't afraid of you because as someone that's on the streets, the one thing I've always heard them say is, okay, yeah, Batman will show up, he'll beat me up, and he'll bring me to jail, but he won't kill me, so what's the worst that could happen? Now they're like, no, I'm not taking the gamble.
So what? We've got a 30% drop at most? Try 65% crime drop.
Yeah, Gotham is approaching Metropolis levels of safe.
Okay, out of anyone you could have snapped against, regardless of mind control, you know good and well Joker had it coming. I hate to be that guy, but it's the truth.
Yes, Barbara, me. I'm being Red Hood at this point. Me, Tim, literally everyone. You. How many times has the Joker taken over the city? Joker has committed genocide, Bruce. And you're telling me you're feeling guilty for killing the Joker?
If I did that, if I were to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Bruce, you and I both know that's BS.
We're not talking about Scarecrow.
If you were really on that hair trigger, you would have not put on the bat suit to begin with.
It's a vain argument, Bruce. I get you want to be better. You want to inspire people while also dealing punishment to those who break the law. But this is a double-edged sword. All Poison Ivy did was compel you to do something you didn't have the balls to do on your own accord.
And also, here's the thing. The inspiration part, that's the other guy. You're the fear guy.
Depends on your perspective. Really? You're pulling that certain point of view crap, Bruce?
How much Star Wars have you watched, Bruce? I had to.
So yeah, Jason is actually on the teams because New 52 Outlaws doesn't happen. So Jason is just taking bounties left and right. He gets busted by Task Force X at one point, and he gets roped into the team as well. But his commission is nowhere near as long as Bruce's. His is about as long as Deadshot's.
Okay. And again, it's still like if you do this one op, we'll let you go.
If we survive.
Mm-hmm.
So Batman kind of leads the team. Deadshot kind of pretty much starts the cleanest way I can say this is a dick measuring contest. Deadshot is kind of the Guy Gardner of this team.
Oh, God. You have to have a scene where Batman punches Deadshot, please.
You have to.
If there's anyone that's a Guy Gardner thing, he's not Guy Gardner unless he's been punched in the face by Batman. By the way, that was my favorite part of Jeff Johnson's Green Lantern when Hal socks Batman, and Guy Gardner was like, finally! That was a payoff to a moment that I never thought I needed payoff for.
But seriously, the only people who really are on Bruce's side in all of this is Barry because he's been dreaded by guilt, and maybe Wally, but Wally's kind of giving Barry the side eye. He'll help on missions, but he's not going to visit. He's not going to visit Iris or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wally is kind of where he was in early Rebirth, to where he doesn't want to interact with anyone. He'll save people and then he'll run off.
Yeah. You're saying
Like,
he runs so fast.
Wally, we talked about this. I'm helping, aren't I? You're doing what you've always done.
You're just doing it because it directly benefits you, Waller. Don't make it out like you're some humanitarian.
And the rap sheet I have on you. The government's been watching over you for quite some time, Bruce. Gotham was such a criminal cesspool, most agents looked the other way. But I would have busted you without a second thought. Some deemed it wasn't worth the risk. Well, you're stuck with me now, Waller. And last time I checked, my guns are bigger than yours.
And also, a lot of good, okay, so you saw what Gotham is like without Batman, right? Do you really want that?
Do you? Especially if it was to spill over to Bloodhaven or Metropolis or other cities across the U.S.
First off, you and I both know no one's going to try to have Gotham-level violence in Metropolis when Superman exists in Metropolis. So let's be clear on that one.
Which, fun fact, Scion is still active as Scion. This is before a certain tragedy, as it were. This is like a whole year before that.
Yeah, this is before a certain god shows up.
Oh, y'all are in for a treat when we get to Godkiller too. But where was I? Oh yeah, so basically it's similar to Justice League versus Suicide Squad. They team up, they go across the world, they help people. Harley's actually trying to get up. Harley's actually the earliest to get her pardon. Because again, she played a role with both Joker and Poison Ivy being sealed in the Phantom Zone. She gained a lot of goodwill in the public for actually being on the field, helping people and being a hero. And if Harley plays nice and can pass the psychological exam, someone else assessing her, mind you, she can get her license back.
Oh man, Harley. Can you imagine being Harley's first patient? Oh no. That's scary on a whole lot of levels.
Which is probably going to be Bruce, let's be honest.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
And I could see Tom King writing New Direction Harley Quinn, where it's just his typical panel monologue art. That one's really just
the 9-panel grid. There's going to be like a veggie platter in the middle of the thing for no reason. That's a reference to his New Gods, his Mr. Miracle, which was arguably one of his better books.
When editorial does not screw him over, Tom King can do good.
That's why I say he's one of the there are some things that are his fault, but most of what people critique him for is stuff that was forced upon him by editorial.
Heroes in Crisis being one of them. In a vacuum.
In a vacuum, if you read it without the wall, this is why when I reviewed that book, I said if what happened to Wally in the past with like Rebirth and everything and the New 52 hadn't happened, I think that book would have been drastically more well received.
Definitely. And Waller really tries to tug Bruce's cape every chance she gets.
Mm-hmm.
And one little thing, on the books, Task Force X is a branch off of the Justice League. But if push comes to shove, they are allowed to kill. You included, Bruce. And Jason is like, oh,
no.
This is going to be
and
fun.
Jason is like, where do I sign up?
Technically, this is just anything other than a prison sentence, Jason. You're just allowed to go on the field.
Sweet.
This is like a playground for me.
But wait, I don't get yelled at for killing? This is awesome. Why didn't I join the Suicide Squad before?
Because Batman was always there to bail you out.
Batman, you've been holding me. You mean that this haven existed?
I didn't want you to be reduced to being a government stooge. You're better than that.
But I can kill and not get beaten up. I can kill criminals. This is awesome.
Jason is a very...
And wait. Bruce, you know I'm joking, right? I need to make sure because your humor, because your sense of humor has never been one of your strong suits. Apparently, you haven't prepped for a sense of humor. Had to put that in there.
I never needed a sense of humor in Gotham.
So you're telling me that one time where you wore the rainbow bat suit was not somehow you being you having a sense of humor?
We don't talk about that.
You like how I brought the rainbow bat suit?
What
made me think of that was in Trinity Rebirth when New 52 Clark, Bruce and Diana are having lunch, a dinner with post-crisis Clark. He brings up how his Batman wore the rainbow suit, and then Bruce goes, "I would never do that."
Well, my reality was a little different than yours, Bruce. A byproduct of a different era. Speaking of which, how would post-crisis Superman feel about all this? Would he defend Bruce? Would he? Because I know he's going to actually try to solve the case, and he did play a role in exposing Poison Ivy. He kind of helped Tim with that, but Zion's mostly been on the Justice League, so there's kind of a disconnect there.
Well, remember, this is Superman also from the pre-New 52 Earth, so he knows what the Suicide Squad is. Because remember, it wasn't until like Rebirth that the Justice League became aware of the Suicide Squad's existence.
That is true.
So it could be when Batman was hired by Waller. This is when he found out about the squad.
Definitely.
And this one knows that they exist, so he's like, yeah, they can do good, but watch them.
You had all this intel, all this experience, and you didn't convey any of this information.
You didn't ask.
That, and you're not the type of person to willingly ask for help unless it's an existential threat to the planet.
Yeah. Bruce, have you met yourself? And Jason turns to me and goes, yeah, have you done that? Because you're not exactly the most approachable person.
Bruce, I hate what Poison Ivy did to you. I do. But two wrongs don't make a right. You don't deserve this. All I have to do is take these files to the President of the United States, and I can have you pardoned by this time tomorrow. She's blackmailing you at this point.
And no one blackmails Batman.
I'll find a way around it, Clark. But I'm not going to be able to do that if I try to cheat my way out of her game. She's only going to retaliate. My identity is at stake. My children's identities are at stake. I can't risk pissing her off. Doesn't mean you have to be her stooge either.
You know Waller is just screwing with you, right? And she's not... a lot of these threats she makes, she can't back up.
Because even if she did try to do them, she would get vetoed either by the president or a higher agent in the government, in the agency she works with. She would get vetoed if she even attempted it.
Yeah, so you realize you literally don't have to do this.
But for the sake of plot contrivance and because it's fun.
Well, of course.
But yeah, Task Force X goes on for about 30 issues before we then get the big reveal. Now, Poison Ivy is not set to the Phantom Zone immediately after Last Laugh, because they got to actually solve the mystery. And Bruce, he's a little pissed off that someone probed into his mind and used pheromones to make him do something he never would have wanted to do.
Yes. And by the way, real quick, this is off topic, but I have to bring this up because I just got an idea for a New Direction video. It's New Direction's World's Finest, but it's Batman training Jonathan Kent.
I could see that, like in the...
Because you know how Batman trains people, right? It's pretty much the way Oliver Queen trained Barry in the first Flash Green Arrow crossover episode. That would be that.
If we, like, after Godkiller, and then John just wants to go, like, because after Godkiller 2, the majority of the villains go on a crime spree because Scion's too busy brooding in the fortress. He's not going to do anything.
No, he's too busy banging Wonder Woman. That's what he's too busy doing right there.
I'll let you have that one.
Thank you.
I'll let you have that one. And John is pretty much, he's stopping the villains, but he's brutalizing them. Hell, even when Damian tried to talk him down one time on patrol, John kind of sucker punched him through 2 buildings.
Ooh, and what we could also do is that Scion shows up finally and tries to confront him, and then John goes, "You're not my father."
You let my father die.
There you go. But so I had to bring that in, and we call it World's Finest.
John, you have to understand. Thor was too much for us. We over-escalated the battle and we paid the price for it. Your father sacrificed himself not only to save lives, not just to clean mine and Shazam's mess. Billy's a boy, no older than you. But Clark, he was my brother. I failed him more than anyone because I couldn't get over myself. If I just went to the Argus base and handed over Loki, that fight could have been avoided. But I didn't listen.
But anyway, so sorry. Back to
Suicide We'll save Squad. That for World's Finest.
I had to bring that up because I didn't want to lose the idea. So
yeah, that's definitely going to be a video.
It has to be. So back to Suicide Squad. So who should be like the main? Because I think so. It's going to be like 60 issues. Who's our main villain? Because I feel like what we would do is we would do it like, yeah, every issue or so, every arc, there's like a mission they go on, but it's all building toward this one Suicide Squad event.
I could see that. Now, I don't want to say Enchantress because that's too obvious.
Not going to do Starro since we're distancing ourselves from anything James Gunn did. Wait a second. Mind Control Justice League.
Brainiac.
So it's basically synergy for Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League.
Basically, but we would have had the idea first.
Actually, yeah, that works. I like that. Except the Justice League are not going to die. They are going to be taken over. Except they're not going to die. I just want to be clear on that.
And let's be honest, all New 52, not New 52, God. All post-crisis Clark has to do is confront Brainiac, sabotage his tech. The only one you would really have to worry about is Cyborg. JLA is strictly on... The only reason we're not on crowd control is because we're more expendable. I'm Captain Boomerang. God, I should have done an accent. But,
Do it. You can redo the line. Impress me.
All right. Bloody... I'll be blood...
You're trying to... I love how you're doing Constantine of Constantine. We're Captain Boomerang.
We're gonna die. We're all going to die. That's the point of being expendable, Boomerang. It's one thing to get an easy pardon. It's another to stare death in the face.
And then Harley goes, come on, Boomy. Isn't it fun? We get to hit things without being yelled at.
Just because you want to go play hero doesn't mean I want to, Lassie.
To be clear, I don't want to play hero. I just want to hit things with a baseball bat, and this seems like the best opportunity.
Harley, I'm going to be honest with you. You really need to get back out there. Because you're starting to scare me, and I don't scare easy.
I've seen your search history, and I beg to differ. I try to think of a good Harley retort, so that's the best I can do.
How the bloody hell do you know my search history?
I have sources.
I don't even want to know. Nobody asked you, Diablo.
And Deadshot goes, don't ask, bro.
In my defense, I was drunk.
Why is there so many unicorns?
Because I have a god niece who I have to babysit every 2 weeks.
That is disturbing.
How? I'm good with kids.
And then Batman goes, will you shut up and just fight? Jeez. How does Flag do this?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, Bats. And Flag actually makes a comeback in this issue when we get to it.
Yeah, I want Flag to be a badass.
Definitely. And we could probably have a spin-off military book where Flag and Steve Trevor team up.
Thank you. That's how you make Steve Trevor useful. We can have him. We can bring back Sergeant Rock because actually in the New 52 they had I think it was called Easy Company or one of those things, which was they took Easy Company and put them in Modern Warfare with superheroes. Do that.
Basically, make it like the descendant of the original Sergeant Rock, and he's just using his namesake.
There's any number of ways they could, because again, I always maintain, can you imagine this? Maybe a video for comedy. Can you imagine a book where it's modern warfare, but in a world with superheroes?
I could see that.
That would be so dope. And that's the way you make these characters useful. But anyway, back to this. So actually, that's what we'll do. After he broke up with Diana, he went back to the military and formed a little anti-terrorism task force that deals with the earthly stuff, while the superheroes deal with the invasion stuff.
And this all comes into a head like, Brainiac's not here. What do you mean he's not here, Superman? He usually has a host body to commandeer the Brainiac drones and the mind control, but it's not physically here.
Okay, then where is he?
He obviously possessed someone in advance. Batman, did you fight Brainiac at one point? He was able to adapt to you. Batman doesn't even have any powers. What can he possibly adapt to? He does have prep time. God, dear God.
It's the Batniac. I was trying to do.
Just
and then
stop.
Hal shows up. I go on vacation for a week, and the whole world goes to hell. Yes, I am homaging both Dark Crisis and Deceased.
Pretty much. But he's obviously took over someone, and they've been a sleeper agent for weeks on end. We don't even know where to look.
And then Harley goes, "Oh yeah, if only there was a Justice League / Teen Titans member that was also robotic. Maybe a guy whose codename ends in Borg."
I would have to probe every cell phone and electronic device on the planet, and if by some chance I find him, I'd risk getting my programming compromised. You really want to take that risk, Harley? I have mother box tech. Do you want to know the damage Brainiac could do with that? We got to take the risk, Vic. We got to find out who it is. We find him, and then we take him down before he can do anything.
Oh, and by the way, Superman and Batman, technically he's synthetic, so killing him doesn't matter.
You've been waiting on that one, haven't you, Harley?
Oh,
a little.
Yes. A little. Yes, exactly. A little. By the way, I think we have pretty solid impressions of Harley.
I'd say not my best word, but still.
Plus, for a guy with a deep voice, I think that's kind of the best I'm going to get.
Probably. Clark. Can I call you Clark? What, Barry? I think I have an idea who it is. This is Brainiac we're talking about, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. And he's able to traverse multiple dimensions, if not parallel Earths, occasionally, depending on how much power he has at a given time. Wasn't there a brief stint where Lois was acting a little symbolic?
Thank you. Yes.
More than usual?
This was in the New 52, mind you.
No. How can I put this in a way that's not going to completely confuse you? It's this reality's Lois. She was taken over by a remnant of Brainiac's data. Mind control, basically.
Just ask Scion.
How did this go under his nose?
Well, he was busy almost turning into Doomsday.
A lot was going on during that year.
And then I can see this. Clark goes, "I freaking hate this Earth."
So now you have to fight your wife's doppelganger and remove the data in a way that doesn't indirectly kill her. Clark, this is not your Earth.
Mm.
If by some reason we get out of this alive, Scion, the first thing I'm going to do is bury you head first in a mountain. I like to see you try. And Clark punches Scion in the face. It's like I'm dealing with a child. To be fair, he is technically 10 years younger than you. Don't remind me, Barry. So, post-crisis Superman versus Brainiac Lois.
Oh boy. Now this is going to be interesting because Superman's going to hold back, not just for the no killing thing, but because it is a Lois.
It's a Lois. He's going to hold back.
Yeah, exactly.
What is wrong, Superman? This is not your dimension. You should have no folly in this encounter. I know what you're doing, Brainiac. You're not going to unnerve me. If there's any consolidation, I did not intend this. A noisy reporter suddenly going silent should have been a dead giveaway. But I'm aware of at least somewhat aware of the irony.
And then at least if this servant doesn't satisfy my needs, I can always go after the Amazon. And then all of a sudden a sonic boom flies by and Scion shows up. He's got blood red eye. He has the heat vision eyes powering up. He's like, if you touch her, there won't be a part of you left to regenerate.
Scion, don't. He's baiting you. He's done this scenario at least 100 times. You're younger and easier to exploit. Don't play his game.
Do me a favor, kick his ass for me.
Oh, I almost forgot. My data indicates that the Amazon is about to go to labor, isn't she not? Making her quite vulnerable if I were to send a drone her way. Okay, now he's asking for it.
He's like, Clark, please?
Scion, just try not to kill the host. At this point, I'm not making any fucking promises.
And then he blasts Brainiac. They both blast Brainiac with heat vision, like knock the drone down. And they're like, the only reason why, because trust me, I could tear you apart. Only reason why is because Lois is still a friend, and I respect the hell out of that guy. So while this is gonna hurt, not me, you.
It's a mercy.
It's a mercy. The very fact that you still function is a testament to how much self-control I have right now.
You've trained your dog well, Kryptonian. See to it that you keep him on his leash. And Scion just crushes him.
Yes, but obviously Lois is fine. Just want to be clear on that because I know someone, Tevia, is going to put that in the comments. Lois is fine.
Wait, 2 Supermen? It's complicated, Lois. Let's get you out of here.
It's a long story. Multiverse, alternate worlds. Don't worry about it.
And then I have a quick gag about post-crisis Lois. So I see you saved the girl again. In my defense, Lois, she's your doppelganger, and she was the host body.
So in a way, technically, I was saving you again.
You couldn't have roughed him up a little bit? I would have hurt Lois too if I did that. I'm just teasing you, Smallville. Something tells me I'm going to be on the couch tonight.
And then Scion's in the back going, good Lord.
Did I dodge a bullet?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. That is so awesome. I love that. It's like, I'm going to... Yeah, are you done? Because not only
we got to save the world right now.
Because here's the thing. Brainiac bringing out that he could send a drone after my wife while she's in labor indicates that he probably did. So I'm going to go do that. You guys just go and do whatever you guys do.
Just if you're going to make up, do it outside the airways. I'm pretty sure a few fighter pilots got a good view last week.
And for the love of God, do it in a lead box. I don't want to have to hear anything.
But it's practically you. A little older, a little more mature. I don't want to hear this, Lois. La 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 la.
Yeah, but actually, I'm with an Amazon princess, so I'm fine. See ya. She just flies off.
He's still just a kid. You didn't have to tease him. Now you know how it feels, Smallville. Petty.
It's good to know that even in the New Direction verse, Lois is insufferable.
More petty than anything. Charmingly petty.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we put in a Lois dig. I think that's our first Lois dig of the New Direction verse. This is a very important issue. I may put the first appearance of the Lois dig. That'll be when this comic is CGC graded.
But then now Scion pretty much gets a tie-in issue where Diana gets burst to Hippolyta. It's a big thing with the Amazon.
As the Brainiac, no. What happens is that he arrives and he arrives too late, and what I mean by that is that the drone is already decapitated. Wonder Woman is there holding the daughter, and she has a sword out, going, "What took you so long?"
Oh, right. The purple ray. I probably should have taken that into context before coming here.
And she goes, "Don't worry, Cal. It's always good when you come and see me, particularly when I'm holding your child." And then
I knew you
Hippolyta
were.
goes, "Please, Hippolyta, the mother, not in front of me, please."
You do realize she was named after you, right?
And I appreciate that. I would just not like to hear my daughter talking dirty with her husband. Thank you.
I'm probably one of the only few men you've ever allowed on the island, Hippolyta.
Oh,
You're on.
and trust me, I'm on my wit's end about that.
You do realize a lot of those atrocities were Hercules, right? Dear, quit while you're ahead.
Okay, I'm done. I'm out. There's a Brainiac invasion, so I'm gonna go do that right now. So he just flies off.
I don't see how you put up with him. He has potential.
Yeah, and then so that's that tie-in, and then obviously the Suicide Squad is still is still in crowd control, and Harley is just having such a great time. She's got her minigun, she's got her mallet, she's like smacking drones, and there's Batman and Deadshot watching her from like cover with like shocked expressions on their faces.
The Joker was a psychopath, but at least he knew to keep her on a leash. Jason, what?
Are you watching this, Bats? Are you watching this? And you're admonishing me for making a joke about this?
Compared to the jokes I could make right now, this is rather tame. Sometimes I forget that because of the Lazarus Pit, you're still a child. Legally speaking,
Bruce.
Just run perimeter. Oh, you are not benching me to crowd control. Just be glad I didn't send you to team up with Robin. Wait, which one? Because technically
Which one?
Because you know who's going through a bit of an identity crisis right now. So
yeah, you're talking about Drake? Are you talking about Grayson? Are you talking about Damian? Which Robin are we talking about here? Because that could go bad real fast.
Damian.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go do crowd control right now. I don't think you guys need me here right now.
What month? Deadshot. What month is it? April. Why? Huh. The Bat Dragons are. I could see why Robin didn't bring Goliath to the battle. Why didn't he bring his pet dragon? Because for them, it's mating season.
And then Red Hood stops in his tracks and goes, "Wait, there are Bat Dragons now?"
Long story, I'll tell you later. Just know that there was.
Do you have to put Bat in front of everything?
Not everything. It's just very convenient. Besides, it's a literal bat dragon. Bialian. There was a reason Damian bought out the estate for the Geomorphs. Wait, so he bought the Geomorph estate legally from Cadmus when it was shut down just so he could make a breed farm for his bat dragon? When you put it like that, it sounds inhumane.
And then Red Hood goes, "Actually, that sounds a lot like Damian, so that checks out."
Wait, isn't this your toxic baby mama clone baby? Robin is one of my children. Anything that happened between me and Talia is my business.
And then Batman goes, "You were punched back to life."
Just know that Talia is one hell of a tiger mom when she wants to be. Just making that clear.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay Heap, but didn't Talia sleep with Jason Todd?
That was pre-Flashpoint. That's not canon.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure, because that was weird.
I think they just did that because they wanted to get some catharsis, like how, Damian's a little shit. He's so entitled. And then anytime Jason wanted to, he could throw that reveal in Damian's face and make him have a mental breakdown.
Can you imagine that? Actually, Batman's not your father. The murderous Batman's your father.
Yeah, but editorial shut that down. Like, okay, it's a dirty dig, but we can't use it. It's come on, it's a low blow. Damian's not even that bad of a kid.
Yeah.
Let Grant Morrison finish his story, and then we'll worry about
I
retcons.
will say, here's the funny part. So I just read the first omnibus for the Grant Morrison JLA Batman run. Yeah, I could see why in the very beginning people thought Damon was kind of abrasive because he was a little.
He was a little
much.
shit. He was a
Yeah.
little shit.
He was a bit much when he first showed up.
But back to the main topic. Brainiac's defeated. All the droids are destroyed. And then after that, remind me never to play hero again. You do realize we were on crowd control for most of it. At least protecting civilians, you get the standing ovation. I'm just a guy with boomerangs. What the hell am I supposed to do?
And then she looks at, and they look at Harley. Harley, are you eating McDonald's right about now? She goes, what? I was hungry. She has a Happy Meal.
Did you just not have a whole lot of cash on you?
Well, the window was broken because it's a battle, so I thought that meant we could help ourselves.
You stole a kid's Happy Meal. What is wrong with you?
I didn't steal it from a kid.
Usually when you get the Happy Meal, that belongs to a kid.
Are you sure, Boomerang? Because actually, I was going to give you this unicorn toy that was in the Happy Meal.
No, thank you, Harley.
And by the way, the reason why I put that in is because Harley's always doing random stuff while other people are doing stuff, so I thought that'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be funny. So the world is saved. The Brainiac's defeated. And then while everyone's doing cleanup and going for a cool down, Bruce and Tim have the evidence they need to fully exonerate and pretty much get Poison Ivy's confession. They have the evidence, but they can't do anything unless Ivy confesses.
And they get they just tell Diana, hey, where's that lasso of truth you got?
Technically, Ivy is so naturally imbued to the green, she technically doesn't have a humanoid body anymore. So I couldn't use the lasso to compel her.
Wait, is this pre-Heroes in Crisis or post?
Around the same time, like just before it.
Because if it's before, she doesn't have that plant body.
Oh, yeah.
She gets it in that event.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's not use the lasso right away. I want to prove a point. So Batman uses the resource. They bring Ivy to Argus. Come on, Bats. You got nothing on me. Besides, you were going to snap sooner or later. But why Joker? Why not Bane? Killer Croc? Someone that actually would have been a challenge against me. But this wasn't about me.
Because Joker is the one that justifiably you would be in the right killing.
Maybe so. But this wasn't about me. This was over Harley. You knew she wouldn't have the willpower to openly leave him and make it stick. So you were going to do it for her. But if she found it...
I will admit that may have been part of my motivation.
You do realize, thanks to Argus's resources, I have access to just about every greenery, every plant site, even biofarms. All I have to do is press a button, and I'd make sure they're frozen solid. No life is salvageable from those samples.
You wouldn't.
Try me. I could have just compelled you to Wonder Woman's lasso and gotten your confession out of that way. But you put me through hell this past year. So I'm going to make a point. And I'm going to enjoy it. Batman being petty. Never thought I'd see the day. Are you really willing to take that gamble? Your precious babies? Nationwide? For an avatar of the green, that must be catastrophic. Don't do it, Bats. Tell the truth, Ivy, and this can end. I'm reaching below room temperature. I'm almost at 0 degrees. One little flick of my finger, and we'll be below absolute zero. Last chance, Ivy. Ivy's too embroiled with her babies. Okay. All right, I did it. But it was for her own good. You were just the most convenient patsy, and no one would have batted an eye.
How'd you do it? I used Scarecrow toxin. How'd you get the badge? Crane owed me a favor. What kind of favor? I knew his family. His family? His secret family, the one that ostracized when they found out he was the Scarecrow. They came down with a rare disease, and the only way to find a cure was from a rare plant that only I would be imbued to, since it hasn't been discovered by man. I agreed to sample the antidote for him if he gave me the toxin. So you leveraged him. Why not just put me under the damn lasso? Because it would be argued it would have been coerced. I need to ensure you had full agency before we discussed. So what's my corporal punishment? Another stint in Arkham? No, Red. You're not getting off that easy. Harley. I'm sorry, Red. And then she appears with the Phantom Zone projector. And that's the finale of this series. The Harley Ivy breakup and Poison Ivy being thrown into the Phantom Zone.
I love that. That's awesome.
Congratulations, Quinn. You've officially earned your pardon. But at what cost, Waller? Are you really that heartless? I lost my heart to the job and the mission years ago, and I made sure no one could hurt me or my country again. You should take heed in that if you're going to be a hero now, Quinn. That's just cold, even for her. Hal is saying this, by the way. I'd expect a move like this from Waller any day of the week. But you, Bruce, you wouldn't have done this. So why? I needed a confession. And the only way I was going to get is if Ivy talked. It was a coercion. It was a technical. Even if you could argue using the lasso's coercion, it's a technicality that never would have stuck. Ivy had motivation, she had intent, and she leveraged Scarecrow with the antidote. She would have been guilty in all but name. Doesn't matter. The law's the law. Even those you hurt as a consequence, it doesn't matter, Lantern. We're done here. You sanctimonious, self-righteous... How? Oh, no, you're crossing from one reality to another, Boy Scout. You're going to preach to me too? This wasn't Bruce's call. This was also a contingent for his pardon too. Waller is still his supervisor as long as he's a part of Task Force X. She would only give him the pardon if he interrogated Ivy this way. He never would have done this on his own accord. Two wrongs don't make a right, Clark. Even you have to see that. Jared, your rebuttal?
You know, in my world, you got redemption after wiping out the Green Lantern Corps. So I think a little sympathy would be appreciated.
Parallax made me do that. I don't know what happened on your Earth, but on mine, the literal entity of fear possessed me when I was in my lowest state. Just because your Hal went crazy has nothing to do with me.
But also, it's Batman. So I think of all the people we can trust who know his limits and have a reason for doing things, it would be Bruce. No, I've traveled the multiverse, and the one constant is Bruce always knows what he's doing.
So what? He's back God on your Earth?
Actually, yeah, that's kind of what we used to call him on my JLA.
Fine, I'll get the league together for a vote. But I'm not going to switch sides just because you're you're willing to throw a sob story my way.
Hey, I got nothing to do with this. I'm not in the jail on this earth.
Oh, right. You're commissioning with the JLA. I got Scion. I always do get you two mixed up. The gray hair, you think the gray hair would set it off. You're starting to develop a few grays too, Hal. Don't you even joke about that.
And then Hal goes, at least my Clark is with a tolerable human being. I mean, at least my Clark was with a tolerable person.
Considering your little escapades behind Carol's back, you're the last person to be giving me love advice. Least of all when you're bad-mouthing my wife. And the last time you took on a Superman didn't really end well for you. Back off, Flyboy. Before I clip your wings.
And then Silence shows up and goes, what the hell is going on here? I walk away for 5 minutes, and you guys are at each other's throats. Can we go a day without someone trying to hurt the other person, please?
Wouldn't be the first time Hal's ego's gotten the better of him. I'd pay good money to see that. To see the doppelganger cut loose? Not now, Boomerang. We got a briefing to report. Anyone want to check on Harley? Shh, that ball of crazy? Don't look at me. Oh, come on, Boom. At least pretend to have a heart. I'll do it. Wally, you are insane. She's one mental breakdown away from blowing us all to Kingdom Come or sending us out the airlock. Someone has to talk to her. She lost the love of her life in one of the most painful ways possible. She deserves some kind of solace. It's more than I got, or my family. Wally, just don't make this about you. I wouldn't dream of it.
Barry sees this and I screwed up, but at least Wally's not going down a dark path just to spite me.
So you could say, Wally, he's a hero in crisis?
Boo.
I had to. You set me up so well for that.
But there is one little tease, one consequence from this event when all's said and done. Waller got a lot of intel for the U.S. government for this. And this sets the stage. Cadmus.
Oh boy, I'm excited for this.
Now, how would this go compared to how DCAU handled it?
I think what they could do. So Cadmus was the cloning arc, right?
It was a culmination of everything: the Justice Lords, the contingencies against what if the League turned evil, Galatea, destruction of the Watchtower.
So concerning Galatea, what occurred to me, we haven't done any of the Earth 2 characters in this continuity yet.
We did briefly when referencing the Earth 2 saga, but
we could make it where this universe's Power Girl is Galatea.
Yes. And she's the actual direct clone of New 52 Supergirl. Yeah. Because remember, we're calling it New 52 Young Justice for obvious reasons and making it better. But in the Lobdell run, there was an entire legion of Superboy clones.
Yeah, 100%.
So who's to say there wasn't a Supergirl clone in the mix? But Galatea was the only stable version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And in terms of this is where we also establish that that Cadmus or Argus, whatever, is making weapons strategically implemented to take out each member of the Justice League, hence the contingencies if the League turns evil.
Would this include the JLA as well, or would the JLA be forced to use these weapons?
Both, I think.
Yeah, Waller doesn't like to leave no stone unturned.
Plus, both teams have a Superman.
That is true.
And have you ever heard of the term Felicity 9?
No, I haven't.
Felicity 9 is basically like the serum used to mimic the powers of a speedster,
Okay.
but it feeds off your metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Wally's contingent when Linda ends up being inadvertently exposed to it during a doctor's visit. So she thinks she's a hero. She's trying to be a hero. She has all these powers. Think Gotham Girl from Rebirth. But the more she uses these powers, the more it's going to kill New 52 Linda. And Wally knows that what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have to directly siphon the serum out of her body, effectively rendering her powers immune.
No, Barry does it, even though it gives like it carries its own risks. And this is kind of how we try and heal the rift between Barry and Wally.
I could see that Barry ultimately takes this burden for him, especially given the high chance it'll go bad, or Linda could flatline in the attempt.
And then Wally says, "I'm not going to lose you again."
If you lost her, you would have snapped, regardless of Artemis. I wasn't going to risk that.
Plus, Wally, I screwed up with you once. I'm not doing it again.
I appreciate that, Barry. It won't make up for it, and I'm sorry too. I've ignored you, Iris, Ace. Hell, even Bart crossed over in that little reconnaissance YJ team. I've ignored all of you because I've been too busy bitter and feeling sorry for myself. But Waller threatened Linda. Wally, if you go after her, you'll be branded public enemy number 1. Don't let her win. We'll beat this. Together. Do you trust me? I don't trust you, but I will follow your lead. Like old times? Like old times.
There you go. I think we just upstaged Jeff frickin' Johns. Suck it, Jeff Johns! Because I'm sorry, that hit harder than Rebirth did. And we managed to do it without being vindictive. Imagine that. Yeah, I'm not letting that go.
Oh. Okay. So we get Galatea versus Supergirl. John Henry Irons is already stale by this point. We've established that. I don't really see this diverging too much, other than unlike in DCAU, JLU was already established. This leads to the formation of JLU. But who replaces the Question? Because he was uncovering the whole conspiracy while everything was going on.
Could be Tim Drake.
But
could we?
Yeah, but Question then gets tortured by Luthor.
Tell you what, the Question, but it's Renee Montoya.
Renee Montoya. Oh, we can make a Batwoman tie-in to where Renee Montoya ends up going through that. Batwoman's willing to break the rules for her, and then Montoya's okay. I got to sit this out. I've been through a heavy experience, and then it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Missing out on some Helena Bertinelli action, but other than that, it's the same thing. Wait, who goes with Batwoman to raid the Argus base? It wouldn't be any of the Supermen because that's not something they would do. I
would imagine it could be like, okay, so Batwoman. I'm trying to think who would team up with her. Maybe like synergize it with the crappy show and put Batwing with her.
Yeah, but make him more assertive and not a
make him non-CW.
Yeah. So Batwoman and Batwing team up and hack into the Argus base to free Renee.
Yes, exactly.
So, this leads to the Justice League new mandate. This leads to the Justice League Unlimited program with like Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven. They get league status and join Cyborg.
I had to.
Seriously, that theme song is in my head.
The show has one of the best theme songs of all time.
Okay, because I still got the time. I still got this timeline pulled up. I'm actually proud of that timeline video we did. So we have Cadmus. We also have, Shazam leaving the Justice League because that was a core plot point of Cadmus.
Mm-hmm.
We then leave end the Percy run of Teen Titans going into the Outsiders with Beast Boy. Okay. Do you want to start Rebirth like within the confines of 2016 or delay it so we can establish a time skip? Because when we get to,
we can establish a time skip.
Okay, so Rebirth.
Because I think for what we want to do, a time skip is the best option.
Yeah, especially considering how Godkiller 2 ends.
Yeah, that's the best place to put in a time skip.
Okay, so now the Justice League United is implemented, and we then cut to 5 years later. Start of Rebirth. I think that's fair because you understand if you imagine a Kryptonian Amazon hybrid, they age up pretty quickly, especially with constant exposure to yellow sunlight.
To a certain degree, and then they stop aging, I think is the way it works.
Yeah, to a certain degree. By post-adolescent, they stop physically aging.
Mm-hmm.
So Hippolyta would be about 10. John would be about 14. And Damian, because right at the end of the New 52 going to Rebirth, Damian was turning 13. So would Damian be 16, 17?
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, I could see that. But yes, I mean the world goes on, the world rebuilds, and Shazam doesn't even team up with the Shazam family anymore. Okay, if you're wondering why I'm being so emphasis on Shazam, when we get to Godkiller 2,
we also have to bring in Black Adam.
That we do. Wait, do you want to give him his own episode, or will we just do a tie-in?
No, I mean he's going to play a role in Godkiller, like he is going to battle Thor.
Oh, that's going to happen. And I just sent you a little something in private chat. Don't exploit it. Don't say it out loud.
No, I'm not. And by the way, dude, that's going to make what we did in Thor versus the Justice League look like a Silver Age comic book.
When I tell you.
Wow. That's got to be Black Label.
There's no way we can keep this 13 plus. There's just no way.
No.
Because if you actually know, okay, I keep saying this multiple times because I have to because of Marvel and corp and legal stuff. Mythologically accurate Thor does not care.
And he is, if you thought Infinity War Thor was powerful, oh
no.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay, so now so a lot of Rebirth titles go relatively the same. It's just certain characters are slightly older.
And there's no vindictiveness to Superman and Wonder Woman.
We've already established you get your special one shot that's like 60 pages where Scion and Wonder Woman get married.
I'm doing an 80-page one for that one. You kidding me?
What are you going to do with 80 pages?
Oh, there are things to do.
Keep it PG, Jared.
No. I'm not talking about that, you perv. There are plenty of other characters in the Wonder Woman and Superman worlds that they have to talk to, that they have to have little scenes with. There's plenty of stuff we can do for that. We can call it so we can. And by the way, we can also call it because I plan on later on they have to renew their vows. So I'm going to call it Superman, Wonder Woman, Renew Your Vows.
And then
as a big F you to Marvel.
Okay, I could definitely see an anthology for that. And one of the first stories is Scion arranging a reenactment and making it and pretty much making a TV drama out of it just to screw with Steve Trevor.
Oh yes,
Because
yes.
remember, New 52 Clark was detained by the government for a bit.
Yeah, and Steve Trevor was kind of an a-hole to him as soon as he found out that Wonder Woman was with him. So he's like, there'll be this one point where like he meets with Steve and he goes, "Well, she's with me now, and she's gonna be with me forever. So screw you." And he just flies away.
Yeah, and I'm like, is Scion kind of going out of his way to be a dick right now?
It's New 52 Superman. What do you think? This is the one time when him being angsty works for the story. But yes, he does it like totally dramatic. He plays it up. He even brings in Clayface to play Steve Trevor.
Oh,
Because at this point, it would be in the Detective Comics era where Clayface was with the Bat family. He's like, dude, can you do me a favor? I have the role of a lifetime for you.
and speaking of dramatic,
That happens.
this happens. Now,
it actually happens.
this actually happens. This does happen, but I had to go back and do the logistics. As bad as the Atom Glass run itself was, you can salvage and appease editorial with a few tweaks. Because again, if you're realistically going to make Batman and Catwoman a couple, officially marry them off, and have Selina be Bruce's right hand, she's essentially replacing Alfred anyway. But this time, give Alfred a proper send-off. Just have
You're
Heretic
not killing Alfred.
Just hear me out. Just hear me out.
What are you doing?
Damian does save Alfred. Damian goes against the plan. He summons Goliath. He fights off Bane, and they do save Alfred. However, with everyone exhausted from fighting all the villains, detaining Gotham Girl, Heretic, because he's technically the other when all this is going on, because he does have magic powers, he sneaks over to Gotham, fires a magic blast right at Damian, but then Alfred shoves him out of the way, taking the blast.
Oh, gosh.
Editorial's a bitch, Jared. We still got to compromise.
What do you mean editorial? We're editorial.
But the people ahead of us, because this still has to get published.
Dude, we are the heads of DC in this experiment. There is no one ahead of us in the comics division.
Okay.
Unless you really want to kill Alfred, but I'm just saying in this experiment, remember, we're the heads of DC Comics.
I'm just saying with everything that's going to lead to the Robin solo run,
the idea of this is, I thought the idea of New Direction was we take the editorial decisions of DC and do the opposite.
I agree, but if you really, but I can't see I can't see the larger staff, especially those who want to make money, commercially wanting to deprive an Alfred RIP and getting like $3 to $4 out of it, especially with the momentum they would have gotten from New Direction.
All right.
I'm like, oh my God, they just did that. They did the unthinkable. But Damian, it wasn't your fault. Alfred shoved. It's a role reversal of what happened in the Grant Morrison run. It's a direct callback to it. Alfred lets Robin go to the field recklessly to be killed by Heretic, and then Heretic kills Alfred. It's full circle.
Hashtag full circle.
Circle.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's the only reason I'm doing this. That's the only part of the Atom Glass run. And I know Tevi is just riving in the comments right now. but that's the only part of the Atom Glass run I'll leave, because that was an editorial mandate regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And then this leads to a huge spat. Like, you know what? I'm sick of your self-righteous bull crap. I'm just going to stop being Robin because you're already going to marry Selina and retroactively replace me anyway. So I'm done. Find someone else to dodge bullets for you. I quit. And most of the Bat family just brushes this off as a tantrum, but it's really not. This is a really heavy blow. Like, sure, Bruce and Selina reconciled, but it came at the cost of Bruce being selfish and putting the family and the city in a very compromised situation. You get what I mean, Jared?
Yeah.
So the criticism is there, but, you know, Bruce doesn't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And come on, name one storyline where Bruce isn't an asshole to some degree.
Okay, that's a good point.
I mean, come on.
That's kind of his job.
So yeah, the Batcat wedding actually does happen because there's no 5G to muck with that.
Yeah,
pretty much. But Selena's almost calls off the wedding in issue 49. What do you mean calls off the issue? Calls off because you really want this to be a family thing. Regardless of your bad blood with Talia, Damien's still your kid. And he's done everything in his power to be more than just the weapon the league bred him to be. I get it. You were grieving. You were trying to save face, but you can't abandon your son. Because you're just going to leave him to be manipulated by someone else. So please, at least for the wedding, bring Damien home. Fine. And then Damien shows up anyway. The only reason I agreed to do this is because I know Selena's got you by the whip. That's the only reason I came here. Can you at least pretend to be mature for like 5 minutes, Damien?
No.
I'm here for the ceremony, aren't I? Just be glad I'm here at all. Besides, Drake, I thought you hated me. I do hate you. I just have to tolerate you. Likewise. Good to actually see you actually developing a sense of vocabulary, Drake. After all, you lose brain cells licking someone else's boots. I'm sorry. I just like messing with the fandom sometimes.
I love it. That's awesome.
But yeah, collectors rejoice about Bruce and Selena tying the knot. Damien goes with Robin 2021. A little older, mind you, a little older. But he's not obnoxious. But what else can we talk about? Because there is one aspect I forgot to bring up. Now, this character is getting their own video.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably butchered the name because Apocalypse is spelled differently with DC. You want to explain this, Jared, or do I?
Oh. Hang on. Where is that in the PowerPoint?
You want me? Okay.
It's a little lower, I think. Hang on, I'm trying to find it. And I know what that is. It's just it'd be easier if I have the PowerPoint. Oh boy, is that the Supergirl thing?
Yeah, but you might want to go back to the chronology video. Go to down to 20 to slide 18.
Hang on, I have to find that PowerPoint presentation. Technical difficulties, folks.
You know what? Here's some passing music. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted.
I mean, if it's on here, it should be fine. I can't find it. Hang on. How do I go back into the Google Drive instead of like for this PowerPoint? You know what? I'll find that later. But yeah, let's just say first off, Queen of and by the way, you spelled it almost correctly. It's just APOK. ALYPS.
APOK.
Hang on. Here's how you spell apocalypse in terms of DC. Hang on.
Okay.
Let me do this.
Hold on, because I actually still have it pulled up on my PowerPoint for some reason. Let me just... You've already seen the timeline video, so I'm not spoiling anything. Mm-hmm. So... Can you see the font, or do I need to go full screen?
Full screen, please.
Okay. Slideshow, current slide. Can you see now?
Yeah, I can.
Basically, after Darkseid War, where Darkseid is presumably killed and slowly regaining his power, Matrix Kara, from Convergence, for better or for worse,
Oh no.
arrives there and wants to liberate the planet, try to do some good, find some purpose, and help piece together what happened to the timeline after Flash and what essentially caused Flashpoint. She earns the will of the people. She essentially turns the tide with the resistance against grainy goodness, since you don't have Cabal or Steppenwolf, since Steppenwolf was rampaging on Earth 2 at the time. And she ultimately becomes Queen of Apocalypse. She's imbued with the Omega Sanction, all these wins and praises. And let's just say the Omega effect has a very corruptive property. Now, hold on. I just want to get your thoughts on this, Jared. A Darkseid versus Omega effect or Omega Sanction Supergirl? I would still say Darkseid would win.
Darkseid, because Darkseid, you cannot destroy Darkseid. You literally cannot.
Not to mention, he's had this power for centuries across multiple universes.
Bro, true form Darkseid is literally invulnerable.
Kara might do now. An Omega sanctioned Supergirl might do some damage, but the moment Darkseid starts trying, he's stomping her.
She would only do as much damage as Darkseid allows, and then Darkseid's gonna be like, "Okay, I'm done."
And then, okay, I have to do the voice at this point. I allowed you to have your minuscule rebellion because it served my interest. You want to supersede the acclaimed gods as much as I do. However, I believe in uniting under one banner, under one rule. You're the one playing freedom fighter and using the ones you're claiming to protect as cannon fodder. True, answer me, Kryptonian. Does that make you or I any more different? I'm nothing like you. Then why did you wield my power, young Kara? If you want to learn how to rule, you must learn how to utilize such strength. Heed me, and I will teach you the way to use the power of Apocalypse.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
I had to.
There you go. You set me up so well for that.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Now, any final thoughts, Jared?
That was awesome. I love that episode.
Now I have to make this official. Next week on New Direction, hopefully next week.
Oh no, I know what he's bringing up. Oh no.
Godkiller 2.
Yes.
Gods Among Us.
This is gonna be a good one.
Oh, y'all are in for a good time. I envy you. For those who are not ready for this story, sit back, get some.
Oh, you're not ready for this story. Trust me. You are not ready for what we got planned. I'm just staring at the message you put in the chat about what happens in Godkiller 2, and I'm like, oh.
Let's just say there will be no.
If you thought Zack Snyder was hardcore, and I mean this in a good way, by the way.
Naturally. But with that being said, this was a great episode of New Direction.
Oh, man, this was awesome. I love this one.
And once again, what could have been with talent that knew what they were doing. #HireUsDC. Good night, everybody. Flame off.